On the line with us, Lori Wallach, the Director of Public Citizens Global Trade Watch. TradeWatch.org is the website, or citizen.org/trade. Lori, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
It's great to have you with us. I got your press release a couple days ago about the honey exporter, and Rona Rice is going to be at the State of the Union tonight. Is that still the case?
It is the case.
So tell us about this.
Well, the president is going to use the State of the Union to try and sell his controversial Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. And the polling shows most Americans have come to realize this deal, negotiated in secret for 7 years with 500 corporate advisors and all of us shut out, is going to offshore more American jobs, is going to push down our wages, is going to flood us with unsafe food imports. So the president's going to use the State of the Union to try and change the subject. He's going to make the case that, number one, somehow TPP is good for small businesses, and this particular small businesswoman is going to be the face of that. Number two, we got to do this to push back against China. It's a foreign policy imperative. That's always the argument of last resort when a trade agreement starts to fail on economics. And then the third argument, kind of a strange one, is that the TPP equals a lot of tax cuts for our exports, except if you actually run the numbers, they've cooked those numbers too.
Oh, my. So you point out already we export to 8 of the other 11 TPP nations duty-free honey. And
so, yeah, the rice thing, it's a, the Rana rice, the honey thing is, a very punny topic, being honey, but having combed through the tariff schedules, I realized that we already sell U.S. honey duty-free in 8 of the other 11 TPP countries. So while the president is going to be saying that the TPP is this great thing for her sales, in fact, her sales don't face any trade barriers in most of the countries. There is a tariff of 5% in Vietnam, but Vietnam's not going to be buying our honey because, well, they're our second largest importer of honey. They import a lot of honey here. And Ms. Rice's number one market is the domestic market, like most small businesses. She's not a big exporter. The fact she exports at all is anomalous. Only 3% of any small businesses export anything anywhere versus 40% of big businesses export. So she's going to have more competition because what the president's not mentioning is the TPP eliminates the tariff we had in the U.S. against that Vietnamese flood of imported honey. So her main market is going to be flooded with more now duty-free. And what's her big gain? It isn't New Zealand, which is one of the other countries. New Zealand has the population of the Boston metro area and a smaller buying power. So it must be Japan. Now, Japan does have a big tariff on honey. It's about 25%. And the TPP in year 8 would make that go away, so way down the road. However, the thing that's perverse is that actually China kicks our butt in the market for honey in Japan. In fact, China's dumping a lot of honey here. So somehow there's supposed to be some putative upside in 8 years for this lady who's going to see on day one a new flood of duty-free imports of honey into her main market from Vietnam and also from Malaysia, which is our number 6 source of honey. That is the really unsweet truth about this story the president's going to try and paint while he's got the bully pulpit, and this lady's going to be sitting up in the First Lady's box. And the story's a great one. It's a 100-year-old company. It was founded by her great-grandfather. But the TPP isn't going to help that company. The TPP could sink that company.
Wow. I wonder if she has any idea. And Malaysia, by the way, not only is one of our largest sources of honey here in the United States, but apparently Malaysia itself doesn't produce a lot of honey. So that honey that Malaysia is selling us is stuff that's coming from China, which may not even be honey. It may be this phony sugar water stuff. Do I have that right?
Correct. Senator Schumer coined the term honey laundering. There's a big investigation. There was a front-page New York Times story not too long ago about how China is trying to dump this fake stuff through other countries. Because if you look at Malaysia, when I ran the numbers and saw that Malaysia was our 6th largest import source, I thought, well, that's a surprise. That seems improbable. And I looked, and there's 64 commercial bee operations in the entirety of Malaysia. So how did they become our sixth largest import source? By transshipping Chinese mystery honey.
Right. And that's a great way for China to launder their mystery honey. It's remarkable. So I understand that the public comment period with the Trade Representative's office closes tomorrow, if I'm remembering right, on the TPP.
Well, that's actually hearings. They're hearings with the International Trade Commission. Mm-hmm. You can still file a comment until the 12th of February in writing. Their actual hearings are that go on the next couple of days. Mm-hmm. The ITC is required by statute to do a study on the TPP, but Tom, here's the thing. The ITC every time for every trade agreement says the trade agreement's going to increase jobs, going to increase exports, it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And every single dang trade agreement, the opposite comes true. So, there was a template used for the TPP. That was the Korea Free Trade Agreement that you did a lot of reporting on. Mm-hmm. So we've now had 3 full years of that agreement having been in effect. So we can actually test what happened versus what we were promised. We have seen, instead of the 40,000 new jobs a year, we have seen our trade deficit increase with Korea 90% in 3 years.
Whoa. And
not only have our imports exploded, especially at cars, our exports actually have declined 7%. Literally, less exports after the agreement. And that was the model for the TPP. So given that the trade model of the TPP has been such a catastrophe for most Americans, given the recent study that showed if the TPP were implemented, 90% of us Americans would take a pay cut. It would only benefit the 10% of the most wealthy of us. Given the study the Department of Agriculture, the administration did that said fully implemented, the agreement will result in a gain in U.S. growth of 0.00%.
Whoa.
Given the agreement is supposed to increase income inequality, the president's gone off into this storytelling about this nice lady with this wonderful business. She's a nice lady. It's a wonderful business. Too bad the TPP might tank it, just like hundreds of thousands more other American jobs.
Remarkable. It's absolutely amazing. So with the public comment period closing and the agencies themselves not all that interested in hearing from us anyway, and the administration apparently not telling us the truth about this deal. I mean, if from what you're saying, every single trade deal we've ever done has hurt us as a nation, and this one will be no exception. What can we do? What can the average citizen do?
Yeah, here's the only good news, because with the TPP, it's not just like every other trade agreement. This is the mother of all American job offshoring, wage-crushing, unsafe, imported, food-flooding trade agreements.
Wow.
It is by far the biggest free trade agreement we've ever entered, and it's open to any new country that wants to join. So this is the moment. We either stop this, or we can kiss the future goodbye for America's middle class. And the way we can stop it is in Congress. This is the only good news about the TPP. Right now, it's on the knife's edge for support. It's in the House of Representatives, not the Senate, where right now, I think if they called a vote, they would be 5 votes in either direction. That's how tight it is. I can't predict how it would come out. I suspect the votes aren't quite there yet. Yeah. However, last week, all the big corporate interests, Chamber of Commerce, National Association of Manufacturers, Business Roundtable, chemical industry, all launched their campaigns for TPP. So what we all need to do as citizens is our main duty. Keep our eyes and our mouth open and aim our mouths at our elected representatives. The House of Representatives is the place. So here's the thing. Congress is going to be here for the State of the Union, and then tomorrow they go home, and they're home through the weekend. The next week, it's the same schedule. They're in D.C. Tuesday and Wednesday. They're home Thursday through the weekend. The week after that, they're home the whole week. Folks should look in the blue pages for their local district offices of their House member. Call up and ask, when do you have office hours? When do you have visit time with the congressperson? Do you have coffee hours? Are you doing a town hall in my area? And go see your member of Congress. Here's the deal. The members are getting already a lot of calls, and it's good to call. But one eyeballing of the member of Congress in person and asking them to commit to vote against the TPP face-to-face is worth 100 calls. You go to any of these meetings, you grab the member's hand, you look them in the eye, do not let go of their hands so they can get away, and you say, I am your constituent. Will you commit to me? You will vote against the TPP, stop American job offshoring, keep our wages, and stop the flood of unsafe imported food. And do not let go of their hand until they say yes. And if they say they don't have a position, ask for a follow-up sit-down meeting face-to-face. Come to our website, tradewatch.org, whole set of materials so you can be really well informed, but also there's a link to the Citizens Trade Campaign, and they have activists and organizers in every corner of the country. They can help you get a posse together. So you can have one faith leader, one farmer, one union leader, one environmental expert to go with you to those kind of meetings with the member, make your case, and get the commitment. That is how we stop it.
Wow. That's great stuff. That is absolutely great stuff. Lori Wallach, tradewatch.org is the website. She's the Director of Public Citizens Global Trade Watch. Citizen.org/trade also, but tradewatch.org right now for how to talk to your member of Congress. Lori, thanks so much for dropping by today.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure having you. To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.